You think I'm clickbait, huh? Alright. I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all, stop it.
New drama tonight involving a controversial politician in South Suburbs. Tiffany Henyard was the only Thornton Township leader to show up for a scheduled.
In a stunning turn of events during a Dalton Village Board meeting, tensions erupted when Mayor Tiffany Henyard was arrested live on television, leaving residents and trustees in shock. This chaotic scene has left her political career hanging by a thread, as the situation escalated beyond anyone's expectations. Henyard was the only leader from Thornton Township to attend the highly anticipated meeting, which had been moved to a local park district building due to the overwhelming crowd size. Residents were eager to witness the spectacle that local government meetings had become, particularly given Henyard's fraught relationship with the village trustees. Her clashes with the board over various issues, including police policies and appointments, have been well documented. Despite the change of venue, Henyard chose to hold her own meeting back at Village Hall, a bold statement asserting her presence amid mounting tensions. However, only 2 trustees joined her, meaning the meeting couldn't proceed as planned and was officially canceled. Undeterred, she made her way to the Park District building where the trustees were gathered. As she entered, the atmosphere was electric with tension. Many residents had grown weary of the ongoing disputes, and her sudden appearance only intensified their frustrations. When she grabbed the microphone and declared, "I am the mayor of the village of Dalton," her voice was drowned out by boos and chants from the audience, who were clearly fed up with the drama. Henyard managed to speak for just 7 minutes, claiming the meeting was unlawful and demanding respect. Yet the crowd was unsympathetic, expressing their discontent with her leadership. In a striking moment, she was escorted out by those she was meant to represent, as her pleas fell on deaf ears. However, the drama didn't end there. Outside the building, chaos erupted as Henyard reportedly had a physical altercation with one of the officials. With tensions already at a boiling point, police, who had been on standby, intervened. What happened next was unimaginable. Mayor Tiffany Henyard was arrested. As officers led her away, the live feed abruptly cut off, leaving viewers in disbelief. The scene outside was nothing short of madness, with some onlookers yelling while others recorded the event on their phones. The arrest of a sitting mayor was a shocking spectacle that left many in the community reeling. Henyard's defiance in the face of mounting controversies, including allegations of improper spending, has put her political future in jeopardy. The fallout from this incident raises questions about her leadership and the stability of Dalton's government. Will this be the end of Tiffany Henyard's political career, or is there more to this story? Stay tuned as we continue to follow this unfolding drama. Welcome to Red Rumbles, where the air is thick with tension and the stories just keep getting wilder. I'm Olivia, your guide through the chaos. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any updates on this explosive saga. If you've been following the news, you know that every meeting has become a potential flashpoint, and tonight was no exception. As residents brace themselves for the aftermath of this shocking event, one thing is clear: the political landscape in Dalton has shifted dramatically. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story and the fallout from this unprecedented incident. In a scene that shocked many, Mayor Tiffany Henyard was removed in handcuffs, marking the latest chapter in a growing saga that has captivated the community of Dalton. To understand how things reached this point, we must explore the tensions that have been building for months, if not years. Since taking office, Henyard's leadership style has been uncompromising, often leading to clashes with the village trustees. Her attempts to appoint a new village manager, attorney, and police chief without board approval blatantly violated established procedures, prompting legal action from the trustees. A judge issued a restraining order preventing Henyard from making such appointments, but she disregarded this directive, further alienating not only the trustees, but also many Dalton residents. Rumors about Henyard's spending habits have circulated within the community, compounded by her financial difficulties during her time in office. Allegations of extravagant spending and questionable taxpayer-funded travel have fueled public distrust. The village's budget has suffered, with increasing spending drawing the attention of higher authorities. As a result, the FBI has initiated a financial investigation into Dalton, examining the village's records following issued subpoenas. The threat of severe judicial repercussions looms over Henyard, intensifying scrutiny of her every action. Despite this, she has positioned herself as a fighter against an unjust system, urging her supporters to rally behind her as she portrays herself as a victim of a two-tiered society. Her dramatic social media messages suggest a struggle against perceived persecution as she calls on her black sheep to stand with her, asserting that they are not alone. With federal and state investigations underway, the stakes for Henyard are extraordinarily high. Investigators are delving into potential misuse of public funds, legal violations regarding her appointments, and whether she has overstepped her authority. This scrutiny comes amid growing frustration among residents, who are weary of the ongoing chaos that has engulfed the community. The quest for stability is palpable, yet the turmoil surrounding Henyard's leadership seems far from resolved. The involvement of the FBI, alongside state investigations, highlights the seriousness of the allegations and suggests that the fallout from this situation will persist for the foreseeable future. Recent leaks have only exacerbated the crisis, revealing questionable expenditures on taxpayer-funded trips that lack clear justification. These revelations have sparked public outrage, with residents demanding accountability and transparency from their leaders. As the pressure mounts, each new piece of information adds to the scrutiny Henyard faces from both the public and legal authorities. Many residents feel vindicated by her arrest, believing it was warranted and long overdue. The call for accountability grows louder, with citizens eager for clarity on how their taxpayer dollars have been utilized and whether their leaders have acted within legal boundaries. The investigations are not merely about Henyard. They represent broader concerns regarding governance, ethics, and the proper use of public resources. As these inquiries unfold, they prompt fundamental questions about the systems in place to oversee public officials and protect taxpayer interests. The atmosphere is charged, and the community's sense of urgency is unmistakable as they seek resolution. Amid the ongoing turmoil, Dolton residents are left grappling with the implications of Henyard's leadership and the state of public trust. The potential outcomes of these investigations could redefine expectations for local governance, emphasizing the need for accountability and ethical conduct. As the situation develops, the resolve of the community to restore stability and integrity will be crucial in navigating this tumultuous chapter in Dolton's history. In a shocking scene, Mayor Tiffany Henyard was removed in handcuffs during a recent Dolton Village Board meeting, marking a dramatic chapter in a saga that has captivated the local community. To fully grasp how we arrived at this pivotal moment, we need to examine the tensions that have been simmering for months, if not years, since Henyard took office. Henyard's leadership style has been characterized by an uncompromising approach that often disregards established protocols. Her attempts to unilaterally appoint a new village manager, attorney, and police chief without board approval led to serious conflicts with the trustees. This blatant violation of local government procedures ultimately prompted legal action. A judge issued a restraining order, explicitly prohibiting Henyard from making such appointments without the board's consent. Yet, she appeared to treat this ruling with contempt, continuing to push boundaries that only deepened the divide between her and the village trustees. This escalating conflict has not only alienated her from the board, but has also caused frustration among Dolton residents. Every controversial action seemed to push Henyard further into the spotlight of criticism. Compounding her challenges, rumors have circulated regarding her spending habits, painting a picture of a mayor whose financial management is as questionable as her political tactics. Claims of extravagant spending and dubious, taxpayer-funded travel have plagued her administration. The lack of transparency surrounding public finances has led to increasing scrutiny, particularly in light of revelations from former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot about fiscal mismanagement. The village's budget is reportedly in poor shape due to rising expenditures, prompting federal investigators to take action. Subpoenas have been issued, and the FBI has begun examining Dolton's financial records, indicating that the potential for severe judicial consequences looms over Henyard. Despite these mounting pressures, Henyard has attempted to frame herself as a champion for her constituents, asserting that she is fighting against an unjust system. Her social media messages have grown increasingly dramatic, portraying herself as a victim of persecution. "I need all my black sheep to stand with me. You are not alone. If God is for us, then who can be against us?" she declared, seeking to rally support amidst the turmoil. As federal and state investigations unfold, the stakes for Mayor Henyard are at an all-time high. Investigators are delving into serious allegations, including the misuse of public funds and violations related to her appointments. This scrutiny has come at a time when residents are growing increasingly frustrated with the chaos that has gripped their community. The quest for stability has become palpable as citizens yearn for resolution amidst the upheaval. The investigations highlight more than just Henyard's personal conduct. They raise fundamental questions about governance and the ethical use of public resources. With each new piece of evidence surfacing, public outrage has intensified, particularly regarding questionable expenditures related to taxpayer-funded trips. Many of these trips lack clear justification, further fueling demands for accountability and transparency. The community's reaction to Henyard's arrest has been immediate and intense, with many residents feeling that her apprehension was not only justified but long overdue. This widespread sentiment reflects a growing belief that the integrity of local governance is at stake. As more details emerge, the call for accountability grows louder, and residents are increasingly vocal about their desire for clarity on how taxpayer dollars have been managed. The ongoing inquiries into Henyard's actions have also spotlighted the systems in place to oversee public officials and protect taxpayer interests. The public is acutely aware that the outcomes of these investigations could set important precedents for accountability in local governance. The demand for transparency is underscored by a collective sentiment that citizens deserve better from their elected leaders. As investigations continue, the narrative surrounding Henyard evolves, leaving the community to grapple with the implications of her leadership and the erosion of public trust. The potential repercussions of these inquiries extend beyond Henyard, prompting a revaluation of the mechanisms governing local politics and the expectations citizens have for their representatives. For many residents, this moment signifies a crucial turning point, an opportunity to redefine standards and insist on ethical conduct from those in public service. The unfolding events serve as a reminder of the importance of oversight and the necessity of robust systems to prevent the misuse of power and resources in the future. As Henyard faces mounting pressure from investigations and public discontent, her path forward remains uncertain. However, the resolve of the Dolton community is becoming increasingly clear. Residents are demanding change, accountability, and a restoration of faith in their local government. The chaos surrounding Henyard's administration has amplified voices advocating for better governance, making it evident that the community is ready for a shift. The unfolding investigations and the scrutiny they bring may well serve as catalysts for a broader movement toward reform and greater transparency in local politics. As Dolton navigates this challenging period, the demand for accountability remains at the forefront of community discussions. Residents are united in their desire for clarity regarding the actions of their elected officials and the proper use of taxpayer funds. The stakes are high, and the potential for lasting change looms on the horizon. In this charged atmosphere, the future of Dolton's governance hangs in the balance. The unfolding drama surrounding Mayor Tiffany Henyard will likely reverberate throughout the community, shaping the narrative of local politics for years to come. With the eyes of federal and state authorities focused on Dolton, the time for action and change has arrived. The quest for stability and integrity in Dolton remains urgent as investigations into Mayor Tiffany Henyard intensify. These inquiries are delving into several critical issues, including potential misuse of public funds, legal violations surrounding her appointments, and questions about whether she has overstepped her authority. This scrutiny comes at a time when residents are increasingly weary of the chaos engulfing their community, making the need for resolution more palpable than ever. The involvement of the FBI, along with various state investigations, underscores the seriousness of the allegations against Henyard. Recent leaks have intensified the crisis, revealing records that highlight questionable expenditures on taxpayer-funded trips, many lacking clear and justifiable purposes. Such revelations have stoked public outrage, leading residents to demand accountability and transparency. With each new piece of information emerging, the pressure on Henyard mounts, deepening the scrutiny she faces from both the public and legal authorities. Local sentiment has shifted dramatically, with many residents expressing vindication regarding Henyard's arrest, feeling it was both warranted and long overdue. The community's response has been immediate and intense, reflecting a widespread belief that the integrity of local governance is at stake. As more details emerge, calls for accountability grow louder, with residents rallying for clarity on how taxpayer dollars are being utilized and whether those in power have acted within the law. These investigations are not solely about one individual. They represent a broader concern about governance, ethics, and the proper use of public resources. Henyard's situation is emblematic of a larger crisis in public trust, as residents grapple with the implications of potential mismanagement and corruption. The atmosphere in Dolton is charged, with a palpable sense of urgency as the community seeks resolution. The ongoing inquiries not only spotlight Henyard's actions, but also raise fundamental questions about the systems designed to oversee public officials and protect taxpayer interests. As investigations unfold, the public remains vigilant, acutely aware that the outcomes could set precedents for accountability in local governance. The demand for transparency is underscored by a collective belief that citizens deserve better from their elected officials. With each new development, the narrative surrounding Henyard shifts, leaving the community to grapple with the ramifications of her leadership and the state of public trust. The potential implications of these investigations extend beyond Henyard herself, prompting a revaluation of the mechanisms governing local politics and the expectations citizens have for their leaders. As the investigation continues to gain momentum, the chorus of voices calling for change grows louder, amplifying the sentiment that accountability must be prioritized to restore faith in local governance. For many residents, this moment represents a pivotal turning point, an opportunity to redefine expectations and insist on higher standards of conduct from those entrusted with public service. The unfolding events serve as a reminder of the importance of oversight and the need for robust systems to prevent the misuse of power and resources in the future. As Henyard navigates the mounting pressure from investigations and public sentiment, her path forward is fraught with uncertainty. Yet the community's resolve for stability and integrity remains strong. One resident expressed a sentiment echoed by many. "She'll probably say it's all just fake news, but the evidence is there, and she's finally facing the consequences." This frustration is palpable, as locals are eager for Dolton's leadership to shift focus toward genuine progress rather than being mired in scandal. Despite the mounting challenges, Henyard retains a base of supporters who argue that her past, including previous legal troubles, should not overshadow her contributions to the community. Critics, however, contend that this is not her first encounter with the law. They argue that while she has managed to evade serious repercussions for years, the current scrutiny represents a culmination of her actions finally catching up with her. As Dolton navigates this tumultuous period, the demand for accountability and ethical governance remains at the forefront of community discussions. Residents are united in their desire for transparency and a government that serves their interests, underscoring the urgency of the situation. As investigations into Mayor Tiffany Henyard's actions unfold, many residents believe her troubles are catching up with her. Some supporters argue that her willingness to challenge the status quo makes her a target, suggesting she faces unfair scrutiny for questioning established practices. Yet even among her defenders, there's an acknowledgement that the situation has spiraled out of control, especially following a recent board meeting that raised serious concerns about Dolton's future. This meeting intensified community anxiety, highlighting the growing divide and the severity of allegations against Henyard. Some framed the legal battles ahead as a concerted effort to undermine her position, portraying her as a leader besieged by those resistant to change. Nonetheless, the evidence against her appears substantial, prompting many residents to call for accountability that they feel has long been overdue. They want leadership focused on tangible improvements rather than on legal wrangling. The sharp divide in opinions about Henyard encapsulates broader tensions within Dolton, where the quest for stability clashes with the realities of political maneuvering and public service ethics. As her legal challenges unfold, there are increasing concerns that investigations into the village's finances will prolong the turmoil and inhibit any forward momentum. The community finds itself at a crossroads, grappling with the implications of Henyard's leadership and the legacy of her decisions. The intense scrutiny of Henyard's actions has sparked discussions about governance and the expectations placed on public officials. While some view her arrest as a potential turning point, a much larger reckoning seems inevitable, one that will test the very fabric of trust between Dolton residents and their elected leaders. The desire for change is palpable, yet the path forward remains uncertain, with ongoing investigations likely to dominate public discourse for the foreseeable future. Both supporters and detractors are acutely aware that the outcomes of these legal battles could reshape the local political landscape. Many are apprehensive about what the future holds as Henyard continues to face scrutiny. The community must consider not just her fate, but also the implications for Dolton's governance as a whole. The combination of legal challenges and community sentiment creates a volatile atmosphere, where the potential for reform is intertwined with navigating entrenched interests and existing power structures. While some residents hold out hope for Henyard to turn things around, the prevailing sentiment is one of fatigue with the continuous cycle of controversy. Many are seeking decisive action and effective leadership that prioritizes community welfare over personal agendas. The time for accountability is now, and the collective will of the residents may very well dictate the outcome of Henyard's struggles. Dolton appears poised for change, yet the complexities of the situation suggest a protracted struggle that could define the community for years to come. As turmoil surrounds Mayor Henyard, the village trustees face the daunting task of piecing together a fractured local government. The community watches closely, eager for a resolution that can help them move beyond the chaos that has dominated local discourse. Questions loom large. Will Henyard face additional charges as investigations continue to probe her actions? Could these inquiries uncover further instances of wrongdoing that might deepen the crisis? Perhaps most crucially, can Dolton find a way to restore the trust that has eroded between its citizens and their leadership? The drama surrounding Henyard, punctuated by heated board meetings and ongoing scrutiny, suggests that this narrative is far from concluded. Residents are understandably anxious, and the weight of their concerns hangs heavily over the trustees as they grapple with the implications of Henyard's legal battles. The community's desire for stability is palpable, as many yearn for a return to effective governance, focused on the issues that matter most to their daily lives. The potential for further legal repercussions looms like a shadow over Dolton, adding to the tension and uncertainty that has gripped the town. The stakes are high, and the future of local governance hangs in the balance. The fallout from Mayor Tiffany Henyard's leadership has raised profound questions about the integrity of local governance and the systems in place to ensure accountability. Amid the swirling controversy, the village trustees face a complex landscape marked by public dissatisfaction and mounting calls for transparency. Each board meeting has become a focal point for community frustration, where residents express their discontent and demand answers. The challenges ahead are significant. Trustees must not only deal with the aftermath of Henyard's actions, but also work diligently to rebuild the community's faith in their elected officials. Many residents feel betrayed, believing that their interests have been sidelined in favor of personal agendas and questionable practices. The road to recovery will require decisive action and a commitment to ethical governance as the trustees seek to chart a new course for Dolton. Ongoing investigations have the potential to reshape the political landscape, with outcomes that could either reaffirm or further undermine public confidence in local leadership. As the community holds its breath, the stakes could not be higher. Residents are looking for assurances that their voices matter and that the issues plaguing Dolton will be addressed head-on. The desire for change is strong, and with each passing day, the urgency for accountability and reform grows. This moment in Dolton's history presents both challenges and opportunities. The trustees have the chance to restore order and credibility in a community deeply affected by recent turmoil. However, the road to healing will likely be fraught with obstacles, as lingering doubts and divisions may hinder progress. As investigations continue to unfold, the community remains on high alert, eager to see tangible results that signal a new beginning. The question of whether Dolton can emerge from this crisis stronger and more unified than before hangs in the balance. The drama surrounding Henyard's leadership, the board's efforts, and the ongoing inquiries will undoubtedly shape the narrative of Dolton for years to come. How the trustees respond to this moment of reckoning will play a pivotal role in determining the community's future and whether citizens can find a way to trust their leaders once again. As the story progresses, the resolution to these questions remains uncertain, but the resolve of Dolton's residents is clear. They are ready for change and hopeful that their community can rise from the ashes of controversy to forge a brighter future together. What happens next in Dolton could significantly shake the future of its leadership and set crucial precedents for how local politics are under public scrutiny. The community grapples with the implications of ongoing investigations and the fallout from Henyard's controversies. Decisions made in the coming days and weeks will be pivotal. The tension surrounding this situation is palpable, with many residents eager to see accountability and reform take center stage. The dynamics of local governance are under a microscope, and how the village trustees navigate this turbulent period will be closely watched by both supporters and detractors of Henyard. As developments unfold, it is essential for the public to stay informed. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and enable notifications so you don't miss any updates on this evolving story. The stakes are high, and the ramifications of this crisis could reverberate throughout Dolton for years to come, influencing not only the current administration, but also future political practices and expectations. Residents are already expressing their views on matter, and discourse is lively. The community is at a crossroads, with divided opinions on whether Henyard will be able to recover from this scandal, or if it marks the definitive end of her tenure as mayor. This is a defining moment for Dolton, where the outcome may set the tone for how leadership is perceived and how transparent and accountable local officials must be. As the saga unfolds, public interest is intensifying, and more information comes to light. Residents are urged to share their thoughts in the comments. Do you think Henyard has what it takes to reclaim her position, or is this truly the beginning of the end for her leadership? The dialogue surrounding this issue is critical, as it reflects the community's hopes and fears for its future. As the story develops, it's clear that the implications extend far beyond Henyard herself. They touch on fundamental questions about trust, governance, and the relationship between elected officials and their constituents. Keeping an eye on this unfolding narrative is vital, as it promises to grow even more intense in the coming days. The tension and drama surrounding Henyard's leadership are far from over, and each new twist adds to the complexity of the situation. Will the trustees successfully address the public's concerns and work towards restoring faith in local governance, or will the challenges prove too great, leading to further division within the community? As residents anticipate what lies ahead, they remain engaged and vigilant, knowing that their voices matter in shaping the direction of Dolton's future. The atmosphere is charged, with the community brimming with questions and expectations. Whatever the outcome, it's evident that this moment in Dolton's history will have lasting implications, influencing not just the current leadership, but also the broader landscape of local politics. The resolution of this crisis will be watched closely, as it may serve as a model or a cautionary tale for other communities facing similar challenges. Don't miss out on any updates. The situation is dynamic and the stakes are high. As we navigate this critical juncture, it's clear that the conversations happening now will resonate for years to come. Stay tuned, engage with the unfolding events, and share your perspectives as we collectively shape the future of Dolton and its leadership. The journey ahead promises to be compelling, and the community's response will be instrumental in determining how Dolton emerges from this tumultuous chapter. Keep the dialogue going, and let your voice be heard as we move forward into this significant period in Dolton's governance.